Hey, we have the slower flight boats, if you will. Executone, the fastest qualifier of those at 1:11 with George Johnson. The Renault Princess Yachts with Brenda Jones, Miss KISW, Miss Rockwell Collar. The Mr. Otto, the auto-powered boat. And the Island Securities boat, which is from Chelan, Washington. Kawaguchi is the alternate in that heat. In Heat 1B, we look at the fast flight. These are the top qualifiers, headed by Atlas Van Lines and Chip Hanauer, Miss Budweiser, the American Speedy Printing, Squire Shop, Kenny Toyota, and the Tempest. That's also the heat. We'll see those camera views from the cockpit. So there you have it, Heats 1A and 1B. And we're getting started at 12 o'clock. Don? In it by virtue of their earning points. Then in the slow flight, the high point boat from the slower heat goes into that. That is the boat that wins the most amount of points, and those are half points. We'll explain what that means toward the National High Point Championship and toward the winner of this race as well. But after that period of time, we have the Seafair Trophy race, which is a consolation, if you will, but not really. It's a qualifier heat for the boats that didn't make it the other way. And then, with the 4 from the fast, the 1 from the slower, and the 1 from the consolation race or Seafair Trophy, you make up your final field. Ron Jones is with us here in Pit Tower now. Ron Jones, the designer of the Miss Budweiser and perhaps the most celebrated designer of all time in unlimited racing, second probably only to his father, Ted. Ron, now you've looked at the water. The north wind is strong. The roller activity is strong. The Budweiser seemed to have handled it pretty well in Kropfeld's last test run up here, but the Atlas didn't look so good handling that back chute. What are your comments?
Well, the water is plenty bad, Mike. It's about the worst I've seen here in a long number of years. The back straightaway is going to be plenty lumpy. All this wave action will come off the log boom, and the boys will find big rollers and swells on the backside. I did watch Jim Kropfeld hammer it real hard coming down here, and the boat looked okay. It always makes me shiver a little bit, wondering how strong do you have to build a boat when they're hammering them as hard as they do in this kind of water.
There's a lump on the water, and there's always a lump in the throat of Ron Jones in every one of these races. That's always true. We have that buoy situation that has us delayed now to 12:30, gentlemen. Luke Ellis has more on that. Luke?
Bye, Luke. Steve, I'm standing next to one of those buoys. That seems to be the problem right now, so we can kind of put that in perspective. You can see how large these things are. I'm 5'11", so the thing is well over 6 feet. It's styrofoam. This is how thick it is, so it's easy to see that with the choppy water conditions that we have today, how the buoy could be moved 150 feet or 150 yards. I couldn't remember how far it is away. That is the problem. Now, we've also heard from down here in the pits that they're looking at a 12:30 start for now for the first race, so that's about 25 minutes away.
To stay on the inside. I think Milner knows that he has the superior boat. I think Milner will be content to stay back and let everybody kind of play their hand a little bit. Wouldn't you say so, Michael?
I think everybody wants outside water on this course right now.
Yeah.
I think it's a safe bet. Milner, yeah, because his boat accelerates so quickly and gets through the turn so well. There's a whole lot of racing that's going to go on here in the next 5 laps or so, and he doesn't have to get them all in one shot. He'll pick them off one at a time.
That's the U5, the Mr. Otto, Ms. Radio. Out in front right now as they set up. Renault is out in about lane 4. Looks like George Johnson on the inside with the Island Security System in about lane 2, but Terry Turner way up in front. There you can see hugging the entrance buoy into that north turn.
Milner's going way deep. It looks like he's going to attempt to come around the corner here and get a real strong smoking start. And even if George is running on the inside lane there, he's going to have to give up some boat speed to run on that buoy line. So if Milner can play his cards right, he should have an awful good start going for himself.
Past the exit buoy. Here we go. Slowing way down. 5 seconds. The clock winds down. They've still got another 1,000 feet to go. It's a good start. Terry Turner and the Mr. Otto Ms. Radio in first place in lane 1. On the way outside, as expected, Milner Irvin and the Miss Renault on the way outside. Brenda Jones just crossing the starting line now as they head into the south third. On the inside, lane 1, that's Terry Turner, Mr. Otto, Miss Radio. In lane 2, I believe, is George Johnson in the ejector zone, and that's the Renault way outside, just about parallel with the lead boat, Terry Turner on the inside. In that south turn, Turner doing a good job holding on as he stays in lane number 1. Getting ready now to go head on into that wind of the north third, into the far straightaway. Going way outside, there's the Renault. Moving very nicely. Doesn't look all that choppy. He's getting a lot of air into the boat. He's moving way out in front now. There's the difference now between the first, second, and third place boats. First place, Renault. Second place, George Johnson in lane 2, and in lane 1 is Terry Turner. 2-second lead now for the Renault ahead of George Johnson. Johnson hanging in there, though, in lane 2. Terry Turner still in third place on the inside. Way back, Fred Leland, and the Island Security System behind him. Sixth place, Brenda Jones in the Princess Yachts. Now into the north third. Terry Turner and George Johnson. Good battle for second and third place right now. Renault, Milner Irvin on the outside. The brand new yellow boat, very light boat. Got Allison's inside there. He's widening his lead as they come down the main straightaway, completing lap number 1 in Heat 1A. Second place, place, George Johnson. Third place, the U5. 6-second lead now for the Renault. All the boats still on the same lap. Coming across the line, completing lap 1 to Miss Rock, the KISW with Fred Leland. Now into the south third. There's the leaders. They call him Mr. Clean. Milner Irvin. So far, that hunch is paying off for Jerry Shanahan, who owns the boat, of course. Lap 1, 110.1 miles per hour for the Renault. My goodness, he qualified in that. And he's out there with choppy water and a lot of traffic. They're on lap 2. It's now the lead of the Renault. Goes down the backstretch. That's the difference. You can see the water calming down a little bit. A brand new boat, the Allison. And it's a sweetheart right now. Very low-profile boat, John. Really low-profile. Look at that.
Yeah, the boat's really running very well right now. It accelerates extremely well, comes off the turns real quick, and it gets through the turns real fast. And that's one of the strongest points of this particular boat right now, is the way that its turning ability, the way it can get through the boat and come off the turns.
Okay, second place. There's the Renault still in first place, coming into the north third, getting ready to complete lap number 2. George Johnson, the Executone, looks like he's happy to hold on to second place right now as he starts to spread it out a little bit. Milner Irvin coming across the finish line, completing lap number 2. He's in first place.
That's really an advantage for Milner to be out in first place, too, with that boat being real sensitive in the rough water. He's putting the rough water back there for everybody else to have to run in right now. So he's out in front running the clean water, can pick the lane that he wants to run in, and that's definitely an advantage.
There's the gap now, second place boat. There it is, George Johnson, the Executone. That's the old U-95, the turbine boat. Used to be the Buoy Alberto. In fact, Scott Pierce drove that in '81 and was co-rookie of the year as a driver. Third place, Terry Turner. Fourth place, Fred Leland. So Miss Rock, the KISW. That boat only a year old. It's all aluminum, very light boat. Fred doesn't really want to drive it, but he's in the cockpit today. Lap 2, 150 miles per hour. So I think they took care of any kind of engine problems they had. They said they were leaking a little bit. Good battle right now for 5th and 6th place. The Island Security System just coming across the finish line to lap 2, just passing Brenda Jones on the inside. There it is. Brenda Jones on the left, Mitch Evans on the right for the Island Security System. Everybody's now on the third lap. That's the leader, Milner Irvin. And the Miss Renault, that low-profile wing in the back doesn't do a whole lot of good, especially when you don't have a cowling, and that's even tougher with an Allison when you got those big turbochargers on top. There again is the race for 5th and 6th, Brenda on the left, and that's Mitch Evans on the right as they're in the south third. The Renault now completing the lap 3. A couple more laps and he can come home with 200 points. They get half points here in the slow heat. Milner Irvin took last year off, 1982, but now he's in a very good boat, behaving very well. Lap 3, average speed 114 miles per hour for that man right there. There's turbocharged Allison and the Miss Renault.
That's really a pretty good indication that Milner's able to go a little bit faster on each lap because the water is getting rougher and rougher each time they go out there. He's got enough of a lead now. He's starting to stretch it out to where he's starting to get in some of the bad water from the other boats in front of him or behind him. And the boat really seems to be stepping over the rough stuff pretty well. It's a little bit flighty at times, but it's very much in control.
Here comes Brenda Jones now trying to challenge Mitch Evans again. That's the battle for 5th and 6th. It looks like he's going to overtake him. They're going into the north third. They're on lap number 3. On the outside, there's the Coast Guard helicopter thing right with them. In the meantime, there's your leader on lap number 4 is Milner Irvin. He's just about ready to lap. He's on lap 4. He's on the north turn. He's coming up on these 2 boats. That's the Island Security System on the right, and on the left is Brenda Jones and the Princess Yachts. Milner Irvin, the Miss Renault, on the inside on the right of your screen, trying to go past Mitch Evans, heading south on the main straightaway. He is beginning his final lap now. He's the leader, going away. George Johnson's at 10. He comes out of the north turn now. So you got a whole straightaway for a lead for Milner Irvin and the La Boat, the Miss Renault. Lap 4 speed, 111 miles per hour. Well, this is going to be a cakewalk for the Renault. This kind of thing keeps up.
Looks like you got somebody going down
and the Island Security System down in the south third has turned into the infield and has gone dead in the water. In the meantime, there's George Johnson completing lap 4, about to go after the final lap of the race now. Fred Leland. He is in 4th place. Terry Turner now in the U5 coming across the lane straight away. He's okay. He's waving. Now that means he needs assistance right away, right? That the boat might be sinking or there might be a fire.
Yeah, if he's waving an object or something, that indicates that he's definitely got a problem. If he's just waving his hands, that indicates that he's okay. But he's got something in his hand. Somebody better get over there in a hurry and figure out what's going wrong.
This, of course, is the leader, Milner Irvin. Let's keep an eye now on Mitch Evans down there in the south third of the infield, because as he said, when you wave an obstacle, that means he needs help right away. Milner Irvin, he's on his way. He's going to get the first place. He's going to get the victory in Heat 1A. Milner Irvin, the Renault winner, Heat 1A. A very impressive performance by that very light boat on a very choppy day. Not as bad as it was earlier, but the Renault is going to pick up first place. Second place, well, this is Nick coming down the main straightaway. There's George Johnson going into the north turn. He'll finish second place. We've got a flare up in the air. We got a boat evidently that's in serious problems. Let's see, let's look over there again towards the island security system down in the south turn. It's on the infield. There we go. There must be obstacles or something that's called for the halt of this race. We have the red flare shooting out. Mike, Steve, can you see anything better from down there?
Actually, we can't really see anything better except for the fact that the island security is riding very low in the water. The divers have just gone off the boat there. You're seeing as much as we can see as well, and they're trying to get some lines on that race boat right now.
It appears, Mike, that one of those divers jumped into the water. I believe he had one of the flotation bags that they utilize with him. That's a possibility.
Right, the boat is taking on water, and as a matter of fact, the transom is now under.
Yeah, in fact, they do have that flotation bag, which they look to be attaching to the engine or some stronger portion of the structure of the boat. It does look very, very low in the water right now.
They've got it underway.
Mitch is standing on the boat, though. That indicates that the driver's okay, and it is definitely a problem with the boat and not with the driver.
Yeah, that's right, John. And as a matter of fact, the boat is under tow now, and they're moving it. That means the water will start coming out of the hull, and the flotation collars will take it from that point forward. So it looks like they've secured the problem on the island security.
Now, nevertheless, we do have an official race, correct? Because we did complete more than 3 laps, right?
Yes, that is correct.
That is
okay,
correct.
We'll get the official placements in just a minute. The unofficial average speed for the Renault, my goodness, 113.4 miles per hour. He averaged in a heat a faster speed than, of course, than when he qualified at 110. Now we have red smoke up here at the north turn. Of course, I think that's just alerting the drivers that the race is over, that we have problems, and of course the Miss Rock has gone dead in the water of the main straightaway, but the race is over now as far as Heat 1A is concerned. We might mention too that the Miss Island security system just borrowed a brand new prop from the Kenny Toyota this morning, a 3-blade, hoping to keep the rear end up and better yet keep the skid pin in as you see Terry Turner coming in.
From all the indications that we have with the boat sinking and the way that he pulled into the infield right there, they may be only be able to give half of that propeller back.
That's what I was wondering. Maybe they lost a blade and a hole in the back end, and like you said, it was sinking.
Perhaps one of the overlooked items in that heat, one that did not escape Steve Reynolds' view, though, was that twin set of Otto engines running that boat for Terry Turner. The U5 Mr. Otto looked awfully good. They're very strong.
I thought so, too. I was impressed. I thought Terry was in good position and made a good, strong run down that first straightaway. In fact, he held the lead until he came out of the first turn, and then it was the superior accelerating ability of
the engine you're hearing, guys, is the Fred Leland and the Miss Rock starting up here at the start-finish line and heading back to the pits. Well, at least Fred can get back and get things fixed up in a hurry. It's running fine now.
You know, Don, I'd like to mention that when I was talking with Jerry Shaineth and Milner this morning, they did not intentionally sandbag, if you will, to get themselves into the slower flight to have an easier time of it today to acquire enough points to get into the final. Primarily, the reason they qualified as slow as they did, Milner said that they're rather limited on equipment. They have one good, strong engine that they're running now, and possibly one more that they could put together. So they would.
Let's go down to the winner's circle. Tony?
Thanks very much, E. Milner Irvin, the winner of this first heat. Tell me, first of all, the choppy waters out there didn't bother you at all. You ran pretty nicely at 111.
Tony, it's pretty rough out there, though. I didn't realize it. Of course, I was running in some wakes on the boats in front of me, so as I was catching them, it got a little bumpy, though.
The boat has been highly touted here. Does that put a little pressure on you? You're supposed to be one of the 3 that can win this thing.
Oh, I don't think so. We're doing about what we wanted to do. We needed to run not too hard in this first heat. trying to get. We've got to make an adjustment now. Our air dam on the front's too much, and I was banging down awful hard, and then it was flying on the back straightaway. So we know now we got to take part of the air dam off and part of the fence off. So that was one of the things we wanted to find out. We had a limited amount of testing, so we found that out.
Okay, well, you're in the final. You got certainly a little time before that takes place. What does a driver with a real shot at winning this thing do between now and the time that race takes place?
We're going to get back with the crew and go over some of the things that I saw out there and try to make it run a little better. That's not quite fast enough to run with the big boys.
Well, I'm not trying to put pressure on you, but nice job, and a lot of people looking for you to win it.
Thank you, Tony.
Thank you very much.